Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride. Today it is with a lot of sadness that I approach this reading. I do again want to ask everybody to take a moment to think about all the people affected by the mass shootings in America right now, perhaps everywhere right now. Just take a moment and send your love in a direction. There are many survivors, family members, friends of those who have died. And again, we see it in California today. So just please take one moment to send your love that direction. I've been told that today we really need a healing reading, and I'm going to ask a Great Spirit, Man in the Moon, what, number one, the meaning of these shootings is, and number two, how we can get some healing at this very crucial time. All right, so Spirit, can you tell me why these mass shootings? What's going on here? What do we need to learn out of this? Yeah, it's very hard for me to see because I do see people dying. I see the place. And I think that is what is really the meaning of what's going on here. You know, there are many things that are bad or going wrong about our society. Maybe they're subtle. You know, you can't see racism, for example. But here it is. I should say you can't actually see it if it's there. Sometimes you can when it shows its effects. But here, you can see the dead bodies of these people, who could be you. It could be your kid. It could be your spouse. And I think this is something that's really just, I see people who are dead, and then I see people standing around with their jaws open. Like, wow, somehow this made a difference to them and their lives. And it's not just totally selfish. They're not just worried about themselves. They have to view the horror of what it means to have your society really controlled by a bunch of rich people who really don't care about your life or death. This is what it looks like, and it's hard to take, but I think there is something important about what we are forced to see, which is, again, just streets strewn with blood. This is what it takes to get Americans angry. This is what it takes to go beyond these sort of pseudo issues, you know, the fake issues that we see like in Benghazi. You know, that all has a lot of juice when there's nothing else to report on. But those things don't really matter when life and death is coming to pass right in front of your eyes. There is no way, I think, that the Republicans can get out of this. They're really faced with justifying this and trying to find a way out of it. And you know, NRA gives them money, conservative forces give them money. They can't go against those conservative forces right now. So the Republicans are in a bind. They can't undo the laws. They can't support the laws. They can't go and make speeches about any of these things. It'll just make them look bad. This is another brick in the wall, too, where I think that they might get rid of Trump. I have always seen that the Republicans are going to be the ones that kick Trump out. Again, you know, no reader is 100% certain, but I often see this. And this is another reason why. They don't want to be going into the next election with everybody perceiving Trump as the instigator of these crimes. It's not going to be good for the senators of the Republican Party. They're going to lose their positions. And they're starting to put it together that Donald Trump is a lose situation. He's going to lose the presidency and cause them to lose the Senate. Might be a good idea to get rid of him. Yeah, and place somebody else there as the guy running for the presidency. Yeah, I see it again. Them dragging Trump out of that White House. Yeah, I think that might actually happen. And they'll do it in as quickly a way as possible. They'll just say he's crazy and get him out of there. I think they're already talking about that. They're hoping things will get better, but the meaning of these shootings is that it's very visceral. Everybody knows it. Everybody can see it. The TV is consumed with it. And it really is directly linked to Trump's hate speech, his racism, his race baiting, all that stuff. There's no way he can get out of this one. That is the meaning. Finally, we have 9/11 on our soil, and that 9/11 is pretty much promoted by Donald Trump. It's sort of like, this is the thing. This is one of those things that make people go, well, I can't sit in the center anymore. I have to make a choice. This is not the last thing that will happen. When the universe teaches you something, it'll teach you and teach you and teach you. Take it from one who has been really schooled. It will let you know this is wrong, and it will sort of force people to acknowledge it. This is not the last thing that will happen. There will be other things that will happen that will, I think, mostly environmental problems. I also see something really bad happening in Florida. I think it always appears like a tornado going right through the panhandle of Florida. It always appears this way. And I don't know why it appears as a tornado. I mean, hurricanes make sense, but for some reason this is just, and I see them as like one after another. This will be another way that the universe really just gets our attention and says, yes, climate change is real. It is a desperate situation. We must do something. The universe is really saving us by letting us know in these very dramatic ways that things need to change, right? And we must not blame the universe for this happening. We are creating these events, but it will become very clear, and I think it will become very clear before the next election that something big is going to change. Something really is changing. Nothing makes people angrier than this kind of situation where they have to watch their fellows get shot in the street. Nothing makes people more upset. That's why 9/11 was so effective, because it was so dramatic. It was so in your face, and it involved the lives and deaths of, mostly deaths of, many American people who had done nothing wrong. They were just innocents. They're not even political people. The people that were shot may have been from any political persuasion, right? So I think this is galvanizing a lot of support. It is a moment where people are turning and changing. So it is with sadness that I say that this will bring about the change that we have all been waiting for. I don't know why Parkland wasn't as successful at changing people's minds. For some reason it was not. I think it is cumulative. It is just so many times that this happened, and this time it really was very much linked to Trump's rhetoric. So Spirit, how can we heal from this? What can we do to heal from this? We have to face it. We have to face this with a real strength and not get off topic this time. We have to focus on this. It would be very useful if all political candidates from the left got together and worked and spoke as one and demanded that Congress do something, right? I almost feel like do something should be the Democrats' argument, make America great again. Well, how about do something? That would be much more, kind of to the point. So we have to be strong, and that's what I see. It's just a person standing strong in their beliefs, and no matter what gets thrown on them, they don't get sidetracked. A good deal of grieving has to happen. If it's really tough for you to be around people who are going to argue with you about this, go to some people who are very sympathetic and, have a good cry with them, have a good discussion with them, and see at least if you can release some of these emotions. They need to be released. And make a commitment. That also helps. Make a commitment to change it. Whatever that could entail. And it could be very simple, like calling your senator. It could be very, very easy, and just take a few minutes of your time. It doesn't matter how much time you spend in this action. It just matters that you do something towards that goal. And that could just be talking to a friend, or just agreeing that I am going to vote, and I'm going to do everything I can to get all the people around me to vote. And I'm going to just dismiss, just look, if people aren't going to agree with you, if they're not going to be helpful, if you can't dialogue with them, just dismiss them. Don't argue with them. That is taking away your energy. If you do argue with them, be calm and state the facts in a way that supports you. This is just bringing, there's a lot of people, and I always have this feeling when I'm talking to my clients. They're sensitive people, I'm giving them a reading. They're always more on the sensitive and intuitive types, and they're always trying to be very empathetic to people, and things harm them because they are sympathetic. They have a high degree of sympathy for others. And I always tell them, look, you got to be strong. You got to go out there, and this is not the time to be nice and friendly to everyone. This is a time to be strong and to say no and to bring your power forward. This doesn't mean you got to do any violence on your own part. By no means, that is not what I am suggesting. It means that you have to bring forward your strengths that you didn't realize you have. Maybe you disagree with someone and you say it in a fairly reasonably strong fashion. Maybe you use your secret weapon, which is your intuition. Many people are turning to intuition now. I have, because the politics are not working. We don't really have a voice anymore. So by all means, go there. Use your intuition. Go and meet people in circles where you work on these things. And it's okay to look at some of your past and heal that. That will be helpful. You've got to be a warrior right now, a warrior for peace, a warrior that ends violence, a warrior for the planet. That doesn't have to look like weaponry. It has to look like your whole spirit is, really moving forward to be strong, to understand itself, to have some sympathy for itself, to clear out some old stuff, and then to move forward and say, no, I've had enough. I'm not going to be distracted by your nonsense this time. That's what's needed. Anything else? It's just breaking my heart. I literally see a heart with a knife in it. And that's the reality that I think we are all dealing with. What's the feeling about? What can I do about this? Spirit, what can we do about this knife in the heart? Focus, focus, focus. Focus on what needs to be done right now. How can we change our society? It has to be active. It cannot be passive. This is another interesting point. Materialism. The people who are, manufacturing these guns couldn't care less about the deaths of those people because it makes them money. Money is more important than their humanity. Now, I'm one of these people who I really believe in positive thinking, getting stuff for yourself. We are all inherently selfish. As Abraham Hicks has said, we all, need to do things that help ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, I think it's a good thing because it shows that we have our powers. But at the same time, we don't want to put this materialism above the lives of others, above our humanity. Be proud that you haven't done that. That's step number one. Be glad that you are a humane person and that even though you really like buying new stuff, you would never put the lives of someone before that. There's no reason why you can't be a successful rich person and still be very humane. But understand that some people have done that. They have crossed over to a dark place. And we really want to acknowledge this, to make sure we're not taking any part in that, and also to work against it. This doesn't mean you have to give up every nickel you have. On the contrary, you should be strong and stable so that you can move forward insofar as you're able to be strong and stable in this environment and economy, right? So, gird up your strength. Be proud that you haven't sold out. Be righteous in your moving forward. And do be careful. There are still potential shooters out there who may well be at certain places where we might protest. That is a risk which we do have to confront. We don't necessarily have the free speech we had 3 years ago. It's not necessarily as safe. Be vigilant. Keep your eyes peeled when you're at these events. and always have someone who's a point person to the police, even if you don't agree with the police, so you can really relay information to them and make them do their job. Spirit, is there anything else that we would tell? Yeah, one thing is you're motivated to have empathy for these people because of love, right? Marianne Williamson, I got to give her a lot of credit here. I was skeptical, but I got to give her a lot of credit here. She told us this would happen. She said that this is pure evil. There really is pure evil, and we have to confront it with love. Well, the love is you having empathy for others. Be glad you are capable of this. There are some people who are not capable of this kind of love. So at least if your heart is broken, you know that you have a heart. And that is something. That is something. Take some credit for that. If it's possible for you to do something helpful, to volunteer with someone, that will really give you a good feeling because you'll feel like you're making a difference, that your love and compassion matters in some situation. It doesn't have to be all political. Help somebody in a totally non-political way. Say a kind word to a stranger in the street. Notice how much better you feel afterwards. Stop an argument that you've had from before. Send a letter, say you were wrong and you're sorry. If that is appropriate, work over some things. If you have anything that you need to say to somebody, now might be the time to say it. Realize, anything could happen. We might be gone tomorrow. Now's the time to work out things if they can be worked out. There are some things that cannot. But do your best to do that. And, if that's not available to you, help a stranger. Do a kind thing for a stranger. Don't give every nickel you got. That's not going to be realistic. But you could spend a day, helping someone, tutoring a child that needs to learn math. You could spend a moment at the grocery store, giving $5 to the mother who can't pay for the milk for her children. These small things, they really do make you feel better when you do them. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. Even the tiniest thing will be just that kind of thing that you look back on and remember. That's important, and that's how we heal the best. Being vigilant and expressing our feelings of kindness for another, that gives you power. And keep in mind, we do have power. We have the power to change this, and now we have more resolve than maybe we did a few weeks ago. All right? Thanks so much for watching.